Thought I would do a quick review of the Arcam AVR20. As you can see, it's in front of a rather large screen. This is a 120-inch screen. It's a projector, so obviously it doesn't look good with lights on. So this is the Arcam. You can see it's fairly new. I have a ton of cords back there, all plugged in, so I can't really, did not do wire management very well with this one, I'll admit it. And I'm running some Focal 1038BE speakers. Those are running off of the Arcam. I don't have any sort of external amping. It runs it for an AVR. It's kind of a surprise that it runs a speaker that size, but it does. It's a 100 watts channel with all the channels driven. I think they only have 7 power channels. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know you have 15 channels with this receiver, so you can program them however you want. I know they say it's a 9.1.6, but the reality is you can wire those for a second subwoofer. You can do whatever you want with them. You can run them as, I'm running a 5.1.2. You can run, like I said, a 9.1.6. I couldn't imagine having that many speakers, but it will do it with an external amp, of course. And I am running, like I said, full 7 channels with the Dolby Atmos speakers. Kind of reviewing this because I have it up for sale right now on eBay. The receiver itself is absolutely amazing. There's not much I can say about it that I don't like, but there are certain things I don't like, and I'll get into that. Sound quality is bar none. I think it's one of the best AV receivers I've heard. We went down to the Magnavox area within Best Buy, and I was able to sit and listen to it back to back with the basically whatever they had there, which was Pioneer, Denon, Magnavox, and Rotel. I felt like the Rotel was a little bit better, but it was separates. So the Rotel was plugged into a huge amplifier, and it was just a pre-pro processor. It definitely had a leg up on this as far as sound, but it was really close. I mean, really, really close. So this Arcam AVR has the 4K out, and it has the ability to upgrade it to the 8K. So you can send it to Arcam. They'll put in a new board that'll run it to 8K. Kind of going over a lot of things on this. I think the one thing that I don't like about it, and I'll get into that really quickly, is the fact that it has its own sound modes for different connections. So if I'm running phono into it, it'll allow you to run direct stereo. If I'm running my Blue Sound node, I'm running that into kind of an analog switch, I can run direct stereo. But other than that, you get these sound modes that it wants to do. And that's the one thing that I haven't really liked about it. So it has DTS, it has the Aurora 3D, Aurora 2, Aurora Native. I don't know what this is, if it's really native, or is it throwing some Aura sound processing into it. And then, it goes back to Dolby Digital. So that's the different modes that it has. The odd thing is so on the controller, I'll try to put this out, you have something that says direct. Now, if I try that right now, I get that, not available. Well, why? Why can't I run this direct? So that's the one thing that I haven't really liked with it, because I don't really understand these modes. I don't understand how to get it into native mode for whatever you're playing, but it does seem to do it. So if I throw on a Blu-ray, it seems to go into DTS or, Dolby Atmos or whatever it is if I throw it in the right thing. The other thing that I find odd is that I have this filter. So this is a filter that I put in there through Direct Live. So you use Direct, you run around with a microphone and a laptop, and then you put in, your filters for it. When I go into this mode, for this, if I turn this off, I have no way to turn it back on. So I just double click that button. Now if I go to turn it back on, I can't do it unless I go through my phone. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So those are the negatives. I'm just putting it out there because it is what it is. It does work 100%, but there's just some weird things. The other thing I find odd is these buttons down here. So look at those names. STB, PVR. I have no idea what those are. UHD. They make no sense. But the cool thing is, of course, you can rename them. You can see on there that, of course, I'm running a Fire Stick. So you can actually see that it says Fire Stick. It's not focusing, but it does say Fire Stick. And you can reassign those. You can reassign your inputs and outputs. And you can go into your phone and you can name them really easily within the phone app. But then going back to another negative is that the phone app will shut off really quickly. So you can go in there, you can change your sound modes, you can change, your speaker levels. You can change every setting within the receiver, but if you don't touch it within like 2 minutes, it closes that connection back off. So you can't go back in, and it's really bizarre, but it is what it is, I guess. So I'm just going to play something really quick that is free. I'm just running off of a phone, so it's not going to be the greatest sounding, but you'll get an idea of how much sound this puts out. The recording is not going to be that great. I'm just going to do some free music, so this isn't anything that's copyrighted. Let's see. The one thing that I've really liked with this player too, I have an Oppo player, and I've never played SACDs before this. I've tried a few SACDs with this, and they're absolutely amazing. I couldn't be more blown away with it. It doesn't have a phono, so if you're looking to use this with a phono, you can see on top of there I have the Project phono preamp, so you have to have that, which is kind of odd. In this day and age, I think everything should have phono, but at the same time, if you're at this level, you should probably have a separate phono stage, because you're not going to get a good phono stage anyways. Okay, I'm in the wrong app. So I've always run it with the Panamax conditioner underneath it as well. I had a lightning strike here before, and it wiped out a bunch of stuff. So I will never not run without a pretty good power conditioner for that reason. So you'll also notice that I'm streaming this through my Fire Stick, which is funny because I have the Blue Sound node, but I'm kind of holding the thing that controls that, so it wouldn't make sense to try to do that. God, why can't I find this? I should have done this before starting recording. Here it is. So right now I'm just in an app. that just allows you to stream off of a hard drive. And these are just some free music, free to play, so it's not copyright. Get an idea that it all works. And it does bump out the sound. It bumps it out quite a bit, obviously. It has no problems running these speakers well over 90 dB easily. I've sat here listening, just throwing on a sound meter, just wondering what levels it runs at. Usually I'm over 80 dB all the time, and I'm quite surprised. Never heard it clip, not in any movies, never heard it distort. So it's been pretty impressive for the most part. The one thing is that I kind of want to go to separates. So that is why I'm selling it. I don't last very long with any equipment, unfortunately, before I'm like, hey, let's go try this. Let's go try that. It's going to cost me, $3-4 grand extra to go to separates. But that's kind of the way it is, I guess. So anyways, that's kind of my review of this. To show everybody that it is working and everything's functioning. I'll just go ahead and switch between the other settings so you can see the change on the screen. So this is my CD player. Then that's the Blu-ray, which is actually the Oppo. This is the Panasonic, so I have a cheap Blu-ray player on top that I rarely ever use. And there's the Fire Stick. So you can see it goes through all the settings just fine. Everything's there. Never had an issue with it. Anyways, I guess that's kind of the end of my review.